Bet. Say no more. You better hope the police get there before I do. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Janae, if you didn't know, and today's video is another true crime episode. So if you're ready, let's go. Alright y'all, so first things first, Happy New Year, guys. And I'm actually filming this on the 1st, and I'm probably going to upload it on the 1st as well. So happy 2025, y'all. 2024 was one hell of a year, good and bad. Yeah, and let's just see what 2025 brings us. I hope it brings lots of love, happiness, prosperity, wealth, all of the things, even through the trials and tribulations that we know we're gonna go through. So yeah, cheers to new beginnings. I mean, it's coffee, but cheers to new beginnings and lots of peace. Yeah, lots of peace. So yeah, with all that out the way, we're gonna go ahead and get into today's video. And if you've been here for a little while now, you know that I am going from the front to the back of America in alphabetical order, so from A to W. And today we are in Idaho, and we're gonna take it back about 2 years. So it's March 28th, 2023, and it's 8:45 p.m. at this point. And this is when police in Nampa, Idaho are called to a residence that is located on the 2100 block of West Grouse Street. And it's being reported that a woman has been stabbed. And when they make it to the address, they do indeed find a woman who is suffering from multiple stab wounds. And being that a woman had been stabbed, obviously paramedics were called as well. So paramedics were there and they was able to perform life-saving measures on her. Unfortunately though, the woman did end up passing away and she was pronounced on the scene. And the victim was identified as a woman named Michelle Elena Luna. And at the time of her death, she was a 53-year-old mother to 3, grandmother of 2, with 1 on the way. So almost grandmom of 3, who was born in Nampa, Idaho on December 29th, 1970. She was the 3rd of her 4 siblings, all girls. And Michelle was described as a loving and amazing mother to her 3 kids, Gabriella, Eric, and Raul. And I don't know if any of y'all are grandparents or if y'all have kids to see how y'all parents are with the kids, but it is a known fact that grandparents treat their grandkids 10 times better than they treat their kids. And they don't make no secret about it. So as loving and as amazing as Michelle was to her 3 kids, she was even more loving and even more amazing to her 2 grandkids, Penelope and Jaden. And I don't know why grandparents do that, because like, girl, without me, you wouldn't have had these little rugrats. And like I told y'all, she was a grandmother of 2 with 1 on the way. And she was so excited to meet her 3rd grandbaby, who was to be born to her daughter Gabriella at the end of 2023. And it was no doubt in nobody's mind that she would have loved and doted on this baby, just like she did her other 2 grandkids. But aside from being a top tier mom and grandma, some of Michelle's favorite things to do was to hang out with her mama, whom she loved to visit and go to church with. But they didn't go to church like every single Sunday. This was like a let's go to church type of thing. It was like on occasion. And Michelle also loved to watch documentaries on Netflix, and she loved listening to 90s Spanish music. And in my mind, because I do this too, and I know a lot of Hispanic and Black people who do this as well, I could just picture Michelle sweeping the floor, blasting some Selenas, como la flor, singing, you know, mopping, sweeping, dusting, all that, you know. El chico del apartamento 512. You know, like, I can see it. I can see her enjoying cleaning, cooking, and just dancing around the house listening to her 90s Spanish music. And along with Selena y los Dinos, she liked to listen to Los Temerarios as well. And just like most of America, she also loved to cheer on her favorite football team, especially on Thanksgiving. And her unfortunate team of choice was the Dallas Cowboys, because what are we really doing if we're not a cheesehead? Like, but nonetheless, and despite her team of choice, Michelle was the life of the party, and she absolutely loved telling jokes and making people laugh. And she was also the type of person who just did not like to see people without a place to go. She felt like everybody should have somewhere to be, and she would often open her home to her friends and co-workers when they needed a place to stay. But unfortunately, this loving and caring nature is what will cause Michelle to open her home to a man named Jesus Urrutia III. And I'm not sure how Michelle came into contact with him, but this man has a troubled past, to say the least. And aside from being one of 6 kids born to Jesus Jr. and Elba Urrutia, I know nothing about this man's life until about 2014 when he was 30 years old. And it is in 2014 when Jesus is dating a woman who has a 17-year-old daughter. Now, we don't know this woman's name, nor do we know the daughter's name. But we do know that on October 3rd, 2014, Jesus attempted to essay the 17-year-old. And in the process of trying to essay her, her mother showed up. And just like any mama bear trying to protect their cub, she jumped on his ass. However, Jesus ended up getting the upper hand on her and began attacking her instead. And he punched her in the mouth and attempted to snap her neck. But seeing as how her daughter was still in the room, she jumped up like, oh hell no, you're not about to kill my mama, especially not in my face. And she jumped back in and started, like, you know, beating on him. And I think it's at this point where he just was like, you know what, I'm not about to get jumped by him, I'ma just go. And he fled the house. However, he wasn't done yet. And I'm guessing that since he didn't get to complete the act with the 17-year-old, he decided to find it somewhere else. And he went to a woman's house who he hadn't seen in 5 years, and he tried to essay her too. And this time he had a knife and he held it to her throat. But fortunately for her, she had a small child in the house as well, and it's believed that the presence of the child is what caused him to just not essay her. And not obviously, because sometimes stuff like this isn't reported, but thankfully both of these women did report him to the police, and he was arrested. And after he was arrested and went to court and stuff, he decided to plead guilty to lesser charges. I don't know what the lesser charges were, but whatever they were, it was in exchange for a 7-year prison sentence. And because of this guilty plea, attempted second-degree murder, sexual battery of a minor, aggravated battery, injury to a child, and deadly weapon enhancement charges were all dropped. And all of those charges could have landed him in jail. Well, could have landed him in prison for 28 years. So, yeah, he took the 7-year plea. And so, yeah, he got out of prison in 7 years, and he somehow met Michelle while he was out, and she decided to open her home to him. Now, Michelle didn't live by herself when Jesus came to live with her. Her son, Raul Cuevas, actually lived with her as well. So Jesus lived there with Michelle and Raul. Now, a little piece of a side note. It's not really a side note, it's just a thought. I don't know if Michelle knew about Jesus's past. I don't know if she knew about his criminal history, because if she didn't know about it, I wonder if she would have let him stay had she known about it. But nonetheless, she let him stay in her house. And how does he repay her generosity? He stabs her to death on March 28th, 2023. Allegedly, because he was just a suspect. And we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, shortly after Michelle was pronounced deceased, Jesus was quickly identified as a person of interest. That was their main suspect. So the police start trying to find him right away. And while they're doing that, Michelle's family is trying to grieve and process their loss. And while this is happening, Raul gets a phone call. And this phone call is from Jesus. And Jesus is on the phone taunting Raul. And he like, yeah, I killed your mom, yada, 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 etc., etc. And Jesus calls Raul multiple times doing this. And during one of these calls, Jesus tells Raul that he is at a gas station in Avamore, which is about 25 miles away from Nampa. And Raul is like, bet, say no more. You better hope the police get there before I do. So after Jesus tells Raul where he at, and Raul like, all right, bet, I'm gonna pull up, Raul actually calls the police. It's like 4 something in the morning. Raul calls the police and tells them where Jesus said he was at. But at the same time, Raul was also on his way to where Jesus was at, because again, you better hope the police catch you before I do. Well, they did not. And on the morning of March 29th, 2023, so 24 hours or less after Jesus killed Michelle, allegedly, Raul pulled up to the gas station where Jesus said he was at. And he sees Jesus' car in the parking lot. And apparently Jesus had the doors unlocked, because Raul swung that driver's side door open, pow, stabbed Jesus in the chest one time, and just did. But Raul didn't go far though. He only went about 5 miles down the road to another gas station. So it's 7:03 in the morning now, and Avamore police are called to the stabbing that happened at the gas station. And when they get there, they find Jesus with one stab wound to his chest, and the police described finding him slumped over in the car, which was in park but still running. And he is still alive at this point, and he's rushed to the hospital. However, he does pass away an hour after arriving at the hospital. So now, like I said, Raul is about 5 miles down the road at a gas station, and while he's there, he pretty much calls the police to turn himself in. So he wasn't running from what he had just done. I think he just needed a minute to kind of like process what had just happened before he turned himself in. So after he calls the police, they come scoop him up, they take him to jail, and pretty much just wait for his trial. And that trial happened in May of 2024. And during this trial, the prosecution basically said that he had no right to take the law into his own hands. They said that his anger, his sadness, his rage is all justifiable, but the planned murder of a person is not. And they requested that because of his actions, he be sentenced to 45 years in prison. And the defense was pretty much like, well, had Jesus not stabbed Michelle to death in Nampa, we wouldn't be here. And obviously they asked for leniency in his sentence. And when Raul got a chance to speak, he said, and I quote, "I never intended to hurt Jesus's mom or his family, and it's something I think about every day." Now, he was initially charged with first-degree murder. However, the jury acquitted him of the first-degree murder charge and ended up finding him guilty of second-degree murder. But they did leave a little note for the judge, and the judge said that in his 30 years of being a judge, he had never seen a jury do this. And basically the jury asked the judge to be understanding. They said they know that what he did was wrong, but they get it. And the judge ultimately sentenced Raul to 10 years with the possibility of parole after 4. So yeah, while we don't condone vigilante justice, I don't know about y'all, but I understand on a personal level, because me and my cousins all understand on a personal level. Not that we've done it. Let me just be clear. We've not done anything. But if we get the chance. And obviously, Jesus's family towards Raul was like, "Fuck you, sir." And Jesus's sister said, "That morning, Raul took a brother, a father, and a son away from the Urrutia family. He took the ability for me to receive big, tight hugs from my brother and hear him say, 'I love you, Nana.' And she also said, 'We too want justice done, but we're leaving it in the court's hands to get that for us.'" And I get it, girl. But on that day, did Jesus not take a mother, a grandmother, a friend, a daughter? Did he not, you know, eye for an eye? But yeah, in my opinion, Raul, do your time because you was wrong. But parole board, let that man out in them 4 years, because we get it. We understand. And quite frankly, just another note, Jesus should have never been out in the first place. They never should have let him make that deal for the 7 years. Because what? Because what? And according to the reports that I read, he was on probation or parole for kidnapping at the time of Michelle's murder. So, yeah. But can y'all imagine? Because he was just a suspect. What if he didn't do it? Well, I mean, he called Raul and said he did it, so I don't know. But he never was actually convicted, so I guess we should still say allegedly he's Michelle's murderer. I don't know. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think about today's video, because yeah, that was a little woo. But yeah, y'all, that is all I have for today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one when we are in Illinois. So I know my nose ain't running. Trial and Tribulation #1. And this is when police in Nampa, Idaho, and this is when police in Nampa, Idaho are called to a residence on the 2100? No. Unfortunate. See, this is why we don't do this in the morning. She was the third of 4 of her, and Michelle was, okay. To her 3 kids, Gabriella, Raul, Eric. And Michelle was described as an And Michelle was described as an amazing, no, girl, you keep skipping the loving part. Hello, stop. So, as much as, so, what am I trying to say? And she was also the type of person who just did not like to see people, what? Oh, here come one of my kids, I think. Hey, kid. How you doing?
Hi.
What's up?
I just said that Christmas is over.
Oh, it'll come back next year, no worries. We have a whole year to look forward to. You got birthdays coming up. We got more trips. You know, it's going to be a good year. Okay?
Okay.
You need a hug?
Yeah.
Okay, come here. He sounds so sad. Come here. Come. Don't cough on me, though. Oh, my little... I love you. You want to say hi, obviously?
Hi.
Ugh.
Alright.
And this man has a troubled past, to say the least. And... oh, wait. No. I need to give my baby some tea. And he ended up taking a... and wait. And during one of these calls, Jesus tells... yeah. And the police in Avamore get the call about the stab... no, wait, what? And I will see you all in the next one when we are in Illinois, I believe. Wait, where we at? Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho. Yeah, Illinois.